Alrighty, guys, Madman Mondello coming at you live from the Garage here in beautiful Alabama. Alright, now I've been building consoles left and right this week. As you all know, I had a little mishap with our bathroom, and of course, pipe burst and there was water everywhere. So I've been, not only have I been Mr. RGH, I've been Mr. Tile Man, Mr. Flooring Man, Mr. Plumbing Man, Mr. Electrical Man. You name it, I've done it in between doing RGHs while I'm remodeling my bathroom, okay, which is like insane, all right, but it is what it is, and I'm not going to pay a contractor 10 grand to redo a bathroom when it's only going to cost me $3,300, okay? I have to be an idiot. So anyway, I've been taking my time with it. You all know, like last year, on 9/11, I had a heart attack last year, and yeah, it was really cute. But it slowed me down a little bit, but not to the point where it's like I'm decrepit, disheveled, and everything else. Fuck that. I'd rather put a gun to my head than do that. So anyway, needless to say, I have been busy building RGHs. I've got a ton of them right there, and I've got a ton more to go. So, we're going to have a live stream later on tonight on Facebook with all of these consoles. But anyway, I had a couple people ask me, what's his Rgh 1.2 for Slim? I tell them go to Josh Davidson's YouTube, because Josh is the one that invented this thing, okay? Well, he redid the wheel for it from the fat to the slim now, okay? So we have Rgh 1.2 method. Now, this, of course, is all in, this is more experimental than anything. Josh entrusted me with these files, and a couple other people. There's very few people that have these, okay? So, it's not on the table yet, because we're still testing it, and we're all testing it together. Everybody that he's given the files to, they're testing, okay? We're testing on Corona ECCs, the whole 9 yards, So, and Josh has been having health problems lately. Keep him in your prayers, guys. The guy is a really cool guy. He gave us Rgh 1.2 method for this, not to mention a whole bunch of other stuff, zero fuse CPUs. The kid is incredible. He is a great guy, and just keep him in your prayers, okay? Because he's kind of going through a rough time, all right? And we talk a lot, and he's a good friend of mine, so keep him in your prayers. Anyway, he entrusted me with these files, and and I've been doing them. I've been wiring them my way, and he's been noticing what we're how and who with the way that I'm wiring and stuff. And I figured I would share this with you guys because. Sooner or later, he's going to release these files to the general public, okay? So, you might want to check out how I do this, all right? Because it's, it's kind of, there's one point of this where it can get sketchy for you, all right? Now it works on Corona, works on Trinity, but you got to scrape off the masking on an area that is really tiny in between two traces, which is, kind of like cutting the trace on the old dual NANDs for the ACE chip, okay? So, of course, everything has its little quirk. And unfortunately, Microsoft placed the PLL underneath the mask, okay? Underneath a number, no less. And, it's like, really? But it is what it is. So, anyway, just to show you what we do here, okay? We're gonna be using a matrix chip on this thing, okay? We're gonna, of course, take the oscillator out, all right, and we're gonna use the clock on board for the Trinity model, all right? So then that way, then we can use the clock from the Trinity instead of using the clock on the chip. Okay, the Corona models he has various timing files that I've been testing. Number 86 has been the good one for the Coronas, which really boots like every time, no matter what. So I've been using 86 on the Corona. But of course I have to use the oscillator on the chip. Now, depending upon the crystal, and it comes from China. All of this stuff comes from China. So let's face it, not everything is perfect. So these crystals sometimes have a little bit different of a clock speed or whatever. So you got to play with it. That's why there's a lot of timing files for the Corona. This one has one timing file that he gave me. That is a beta tester, and of course he's going to probably come out with some more. So we'll be able to use the crystal instead of using the clock on the board and eliminate one wire, okay? But because there's like a dead spot in that crystal, it's like a hit or miss, so we're going to be using the clock on the board on this thing, okay? So anyway, matrix chip, okay? We're going to be paying attention to E, C for your clock, B for your post out, A is going to be for your reset cable. Then, of course, you got your grounding 3.3. E is going to be for your PLL, which is located under the board, of course, under the X clamp. Okay, so anyway, as you can see, I got a Trinity board, you know, stripped out. Okay, there it is. I already got it pre-fluxed. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our trusty soldering iron right here. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to pre-tin all of these. That way they're done, so I don't have to worry about that. There we go. 3. There we are. Very cool. And pretty easy. And then what we're going to do, we're going to jump slim the top jumper right here. We're going to use that. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to make a nice little bridge right there. Okay, now as I said, we're going to take the oscillator out of the chip. So what we have to do is we just a little flux right here. And see, you don't have to, but I do anyway. All right, just for the hell of it. All right, and we get rid of this right here. This little jumper right here. There it goes, and it's gone. Okay, so that way then we can use the clock on the board. Now, go ahead, get our chip out of the way. Now we'll go ahead, and what we'll do is we will take care of the points. All right, so of course we got our X flasher connection, which is J runner connection, which is, you know, pretty much standard right here. All right, pretend that this is our 3.3 volt right here, which we're going to pretend. This is our ground right here, which we're going to pretend. All right, and then we have our other NAND read wires right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a little smoke right here, and what we're going to do is we're going to pretend this and this. I hate when it doubles up like that, but that's okay, because then we can use the existing solder that's on the iron actually, instead of adding solder. And let's see here. And there we go. All right, and pretty much we're done there. Okay. Now, all right. Now that's all done. What we'll do, move the board over a little bit, stick this under here. Oh, and by the way, this is a customer. This is Melissa Franzen. Okay. Now I just talked with her. Told her, yep, her console's getting done. So, of course, you know, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna do it. Now I'm using just wire wrap wire, 26A AGW, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. You know, doesn't matter. It's solid core. Okay. So we just go ahead and we're gonna attach that wire right to there, just like that. And we're gonna clip that motherfucker right here. Okay. And we're gonna go here. Strip this one. There we go. And of course we trim the ends, so then that way then it looks nice and neat and even. Here comes our clock. Okay. There we are. And again, this is all thanks to Josh Davidson and his finding the PLL on the freaking board, which is a bit of a pain in the ass because nobody knew where it was. And I do believe that he had some schematics sent to him. So, of course, you know, he found it and he was like, oh, I could do this. And I remember when he first said it, he's like, look, it ain't going to work. But, you know, I'm going to have to times it by 1800. I'm like going like, oh, my God. You know, I mean, so, you know, it's kind of interesting, you know, watching him do this. And then all of a sudden he messaged me and said, hey, man, I got it working. I'm like going, you're freaking kidding me, right? And he's like, no. I'm like going like, cool. And then next thing you know, he shows it to me and I'm just like going like, wow. Okay, that's really cool. All right, so anyway, hats off to Josh. Okay, Octo423. He's got a YouTube also. I suggest you check him out, man. He's a really cool cat, real good guy. Reminds me of the OG guys. What you call it? Yeah, Mob, Mean Old Bastards Club. Okay, that I used to be in, which happened to consist of Chris Jewell and Sigfrido Gomez and Nigel Atkins, Modsy and 15432, all those guys there, you know. And 15432 is, of course, he's back in the scene, but he's being quiet because, well, number one, all right, is he's got a job, all right, and he's been busy, and you know, and you all know he's in Russia. He's a good guy. I talk with him on Facebook a lot, and he's been telling me some things also, which I'm pretty happy about. So I'm just like, you know, like waiting for other stuff to fall, which he's going to let me know, and I'm looking forward to that because that's going to really surprise the hell out of the community. So, not going to say what it is, okay? Just it's going to surprise the hell out of the community. All right. Now, here we go. Alright, and there's our VCC, which is our 3 volts, by the way. Alright, so if you're doing these, you know, just so you know when the files do come out. Now, alright, pretty much we got all of our stuff all soldered. Everything is all cool. So far, so good. Alright, now, what we do, we'll bump the Tornado out of the way like that. Alright, and then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll grab this chip. Now, everybody says, oh, you got to place it a certain way, blah, blah, blah. No, you don't. I don't want to hear that crap. I'm going to place it the way I want to freaking place it, and that's about the end of it right there, which is going to be right here. But before I do that, wait a minute. What I'm going to do here, put the sticker back on here so that way then it doesn't gum up the works or anything like that. Now, of course, this file is an XSFV, whatever the hell it is. So, you know, unfortunately, I want to be able to program this chip. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and what I'm going to do is I'm going to program it. My JR programmer. So I'm going to stick that in there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab hold of my mouse. Yes. As you can see, I have Josh's J runner up here. This is his modified J runner, okay, that he's been keeping up to date with and everything and been taken care of, which is like awesome. So we go to XSFV or VF, whatever the freak it is, okay. We'll get our timing file. There it is right there. Now that's the beta Trinity file, okay. So we'll grab hold of that. Okay, we'll open that one up. That's the one that we want. Oh, come on. There we go. We got to select it first, dummy. Alright, now. And then we should be able to run it. Yep, there it is detected. As you can see, the little blue light's on. I got it powered up to J runner. So we're writing the file right to the chip first. That way then that's out of the way. Because you don't have to worry about timing files with this method. Because Josh is a maniac. Okay, so I love him dearly. Now we'll flop over to this little freaker right here, which happens to be the X-Flasher. Very, very good NAND reader. I love this thing. This thing is awesome. Okay, it is freaking awesome. What a great NAND reader. All right, now what we'll do is we got that all good. So we'll go ahead. We'll come back over to here. I'm gonna go ahead. Yeah, let's grab hold of this. Pull this away. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna place this little mother freaker right over here somewhere. Here we go. With that out of the way, want to give it just enough room right there, just like that. Now I'm gonna put it right there. Okay. There it is. There she be. That's where it's going to live. All right. Now, what we're going to do here is the first thing that we're going to do, all right, is this right here. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to come through here. All right. Now, this is E. Remember, this goes to our PLL. Okay. So we're going to leave that all there like that. Switch this board around here like this. And the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach the power cables, which is going to be our VCC, okay, and our ground. So we'll go ahead, we'll shove that underneath there. Take the trusty executor tool over here, pull it tight. That way then it's done. That way then that goes up underneath there, straighten that connection out right there. And then what we'll do is we'll go across here, we'll go across here. Keep solid core wire away from the capacitors. Okay, you see these two capacitors right here? Because solid core wire is great and wonderful and it works really good. Except for one thing. The coating on it is kind of thin. Alright? So, you know, you want to keep it away from like capacitors where it's gonna grab hold of, you know, and all that kind of good stuff. Because you don't want it, you really, really, seriously don't want it to go across the capacitors in a bad way, if you know what I'm saying, by this stuff melting off and hitting the capacitor. Now mind you, I've never seen that happen, but just, hey, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure any day of the week. Alright? So I'll grab hold of this and we'll attach this to the 3.3 volt right there, just like that. There we go. That takes care of that. And then we'll go ahead and we'll put that right there, just like that, away from the capacitors. They're nice and neat. Okay? Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead, now we'll grab our ground. Put that up underneath there. Run that right next to the cable, right there. Okay? And then we'll go ahead and we'll hold that like that. And then that will pull that tight and keep that connection straight. And then all we got to do is do this right here. And right there, that's where we want to be. I'll grab hold of this, clip this off. And I'm doing this, you know, I'm going to do top side and then I'm going to do the bottom side. So strip that off there. A nice good connection there. And then we'll go ahead, and what we'll do is we'll go ahead and just do this right there. There we are. Now we'll attach our ground. Make sure that's all good. Make sure that those are away from the capacitor. Take a hot glue gun, tape, whatever it is that you're going to tape. Okay? We'll glue this one right here like that. And then we'll glue this one right there like that. That way then they are far away from those capacitors. Hold that down like that. And just a little more hot glue there. And a little more right there. There. That way then, pretty much solid connection. So as you can see, here's our 3.3 right there. Okay? And there's a ground right there. Alright? Now that's done. Okay? Yay for me. Alright. Now what we're going to do here, okay, is we're going to have 4 wires left. Now the first one we're going to do is E, which is going to be, okay, our PLL, the infamous PLL. So we'll shove that down in that hole right there, and then what we'll do is we'll do this, okay, we'll tighten it down a little more, square it up, pull it through, just like that, square that up, and that's it, and then shove that underneath there. Alright? And then what we're going to do is the PLL on this thing, okay? Alright, now, this camera is not the greatest in the world, but it's right by CR35, which happens to be right here. And underneath that 3, where I'm pointing, is the PLL. Now, you're wondering probably how the hell I'm going to scrape that out of there without hitting those other traces and all this other stuff, okay? Which is, you know, it's a pain in the ass, right? But it's not terrible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my magnifier right here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down here, okay? I'm going to bounce up and down a couple times. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to scrape this mother freaker off of here once I'm able to see where the hell I'm going. So it's right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape by this number 3 right here with the end of this tweezers very carefully, because as I said, there are traces here. You got to be real careful with this, and this is about the only way to do this without having a disastrous mess. Alright, because if you cut one of those traces, you're going to be repairing the freaking trace. Alright, which is kind of sucks. Alright, because they're very small, and you don't want to, you know, have a mess on your hands. You see, I'm exposing it now, okay, which is no big deal. There we go. Just got to get rid of that. Got to get this up underneath here. And we'll just keep scraping until we see some shiny. And then once we see some shiny there, then we'll know that we've got the PLL exposed. And you will definitely see it. No question about it. Okay. And there it is. Yes, the infamous PLL. Like I said, take your time when you're doing this, because if you don't take your time when you're doing this, you're going to wind up with a mess. And I'm just telling you, like I said, you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words, a video's worth 10 million words. So, the way I'm doing this, I'm being really careful in what the heck I'm exposing here. Like I said, you have one wrong move, man, and you've got problems. And Melissa, this is your board, so you better pray to God that I'm doing this right. Okay? Yeah. Because I would hate to have to do it over. There we go. Now I got that. All that gummy stuff off of there. And it's shiny now. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a little bit of flux here, and I'm going to heat up the pad. That way then it'll show it a little better. Okay, I'm running my iron at 770. I like to run it hot. That way then the solder melts and I'm good. And there it is. Okay, now what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach a little bit of solder to this. Alright, so we're going to make a nice little solder ball, hopefully, without having too many problems, because this is really tiny. There we go. There we are. And there's our little solder ball. Okay? So I don't know if you can see this or not. Okay? But that little solder ball right there on the end, that's where that is. Okay? And the 35, whatever the hell it is. Okay? Don't worry, Josh has all the schematics and we'll explain this. Okay, I'm just doing it for ha-ha's sake. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this wire, we're going to go over here. Then we're going to do a 90. Then we're going to do kind of a 90, like a 75, I should say. Alright, and what we're going to do is we're going to trim this little fucker right here. Okay? And we're going to leave enough, okay, just so we can bend it our way and, you know, trim it and make sure that we have enough there to grab onto. Alright, so there we go. There we are. That's it. Alright. I'm going to grab hold of this stuff. Alright, now, this is the fun part right here. Okay? This is a real cutie, I promise you. Alright, now, take our iron and with an insane amount of luck, I might get it to stick. Not sure, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Like I said, nobody's perfect. So, maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. I don't know yet. There we are. Yeah, but I don't want it near that capacitor either, because that will screw up the works right there. So, let's see here. I'm going to have to add a little bit more solder. Like I said, this is a pain in the butt. It's small, it's tiny, it sucks. But once it's done, it's done. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to try this one more time here. Nope. That's it. Okay, that's it. Now what we're going to do here, we're going to make sure it doesn't move. We don't want it to move, so we're going to hold that right there. We're going to grab hold of this. We're going to straighten this cable out right here. Alright, now, to make sure it doesn't go anywhere, right, we'll glue this down right here like that. Another little bit of glue right there. That way then it doesn't move. Okay, we don't have to worry about it. Alright, now, that's your PLO. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead here. That's out of the way. I'm going to grab hold of the clock right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the clock underneath here. I'm going to shove it through this hole where the south bridge is. Right here, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pull this through. Okay. Then we will take our executor tool here, make sure that's squared away. We'll shove that underneath these wires right here like that. That'll lock that in place. And then we have our clock. Okay, now our clock is going to go right here. This is going to be FT3N2. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and grab some flux here. We're going to do FT3N2 right here. No reason to do it on a top board with your tiny little point when you can do it right here and it works just fine. So, and take our magnifying glass, get over here, make some smoke, make a nice little solder ball right there. Alright, and then what we're going to do here, I'm just going to take this. I hate when that wiggles around like that. That's enough to make you freaking crazy. Grab hold of this, twist that, grab hold of this, put it right down to that point right there, snip that off, there you are. Alright, strip this back, there we are, and then we'll take this wire right here, and we're going to do this. And we're going to attach this to FT 3N2. Just like that. There we are. And then what we're going to do, again, make sure that's connected. Yep, and which it is. It ain't going anywhere. Good. And then we'll go ahead and do a square shot up like that, just to keep it nice, so it, you know, just for posperity's sake. I can't, it makes me crazy to have crooked wires sometimes. It's just OCD, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the hell to call it. Alright. Now, alright. So, our wiring is done. We don't have to worry about that going anywhere. Okay? Now, oh, and by the way, I'm going to clean the flux up on the board. Don't worry about that, okay? Have people say, I ain't clean the flux up because I'm not done with it. Jesus. Alright, now, what we're going to do here is we're going to grab B. B is our post out. Okay, so we're going to grab hold of that. I'm going to shove that right through the same hole, because we're using wire wrap wire, which is nice and small. Okay? We'll do this right here. We'll tie that up there. Okay, grab hold of this right here. Make sure that we have enough. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll shove all that right up underneath there. Nice, nice, that way then it don't go anywhere. And it's tight. And there we are. Okay, and there we go. Okay, now that we got B, okay, now B goes to our post out, which is going to be right here. So we're going to bring that, we're going to put that right there like that, so that's where that's going to go. So now we'll go ahead and we'll flux the post out. And on the Corona, some of them, the post out has been removed, so you have to use an adapter. You know how that works. Either way, it's fine. Alright, now we'll go ahead. What we'll do is we'll get a little solder on here. Make a little smoke. Alright, there we are. Got a nice little solder bowl going right there. And then we'll take this, put this here like that, just like that. And we'll snip that right there. Okay? Now we will carefully remove some coating off of here. What I mean by carefully is because the simple fact is that you have a bunch of solder balls around there, and if they touch that wire, well, you're not going to get it post out properly. You're going to have all kinds of blinking disco lights and stuff like that, and you ain't going to get anywhere. Not a good scenario, okay? So, alright, here we go. And we'll take that, we'll bend that down towards the ball right there, and then what we'll do, right there, just like that. That's it. Done. Okay. So now that's locked into place. Alright? Now, take that, move that, so that way then the X-clamp doesn't pinch it. Just like that. Nice, clean little connection. No big deal. Okay? That way then it's done. Don't have to worry about it. Life is grand. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and while I have this over here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to flux the RST cable point right here. Okay. Now, all right. Let's see here now. Here we go. Make a nice little solder ball on there. Pretty much the same points, except you're just adding a point. That's all you're doing, which is the PLL. Now we're going to take this, and again, we're going to shove it through this hole right here. That's what's so nice about this, is that everything is all in one general area. The wiring is short, which is good. Having long wire just doesn't do it for me. Alright, and then what we'll do is we'll take this, and again, we'll shove this underneath here. Make sure that this is square right here, just like that. Shove that all up underneath there. Just like that. See? Nice. Neat. Trimmed. Clean. Good to go. Now, we'll go ahead and we'll take this wire right here. And what we'll do is we'll trim that up. Okay? Want to make sure that we don't have too much, because you can hit the capacitor that's following that point right there and wonder why it's not booting. Okay? Not a good scenario right there. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to grab hold of this. Make sure that we have enough. Trim that off. There we are. Okay. And then all we got to do is this right here. Make sure I pulled a whole bunch off there. Dang it. Okay, let's see. I felt it move. Okay. Now we're going to trim a little bit off there, just like that. And we're going to take this little wire right here, grab all your tweezers, bend it down towards the motherboard, just like that. Okay. Put my eyes on here. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to solder this to this point right here. So just bear with me as I do this. There we are. Whoop. Thought it was. Yep, and there we are. Okay. So now, everything all in one area, right there, just the way it needs to be. Okay? Now, what we'll do, grab hold of some Arctic NX4. And we'll put some on there gingerly. Don't need a lot, little dabble do you. That's about it. Okay. Place that over that. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and now we'll hook up our X clamp. Good, good. Clicked. Oh boy. Clicked. Alright, good. So now we're good. Alright. Now we'll go ahead and what we'll do, we'll take our X flasher. And now we will solder this bitch, okay, to the motherboard. Alright, so here we go. That's one connection. That's two connections right there. Yep. That's three. You don't want any of these wires touching each other, otherwise it is going to give you an error when it tries to read it. Always try to keep this clean. Okay. Orange. There we go. And then we have yellow. Last one. And there we are. Okay. Now, now that's done, what we're going to do, we'll go ahead, step off of here, move this crap here. Now we're going to plug the motherboard in. Okay. Oh, good. Look, no smoke, no flames, no nothing. Okay, that's good. That's a good sign. It's always a good sign, I would think. All right, now take my testy, my little trusty, handy dandy Buddah board here. Shove that in here. All right. And now what we're going to do is now we're going to go ahead. What we're going to do is we're going to read the NAND. Okay. Got power. Life is good. We'll get rid of this right here. We're not going to need that anymore. Read NAND. Checking console. There we go. Trinity. Okay. Now notice how fast this thing reads too. This thing is like an awesome NAND reader. Okay. I mean this thing is just badass. I love this thing. And it does 4 gig too. Now mind you, years ago, if people who are still around, in which there are quite a few of them still around, and remember my old 4 gig NAND reader that I built, okay, with Mr. Christogenics, yes, with all the wires and the resistor and everything, yes, this thing still works perfectly. So, you know, but that's old. Man, is that old. But it still works. That's the trick right there. So anyway, as you can see, we're reading this pretty fast. Now normally it takes 3 minutes for a read off of a slim 16 meg. All right. This thing, there you go. And we're gonna do one more. All right, just compare it just for the hell of it. All right, because you know, I mean, from believing, like I said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Okay, so you know, I mean, in case you get a bad NAND read, you don't want to wind up with that, because if you do, then you have to build the NAND from scratch. You don't have the DVD key, so you have to patch the DVD-ROM and everything else, and it just turns into a nightmare. Okay, so it's worth it. Read it twice, just for the hell of it. Okay. And as you can see, it's reading and reading and reading, and life will be good. And once we're done reading, then we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna write the ECC to it. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna boot it and see if we get Zell. All right. This should be fun. And then once we have the keys to the castle, we'll be able to go ahead and write a hack and image to it, and it should be good to go. So Melissa, so far so good. We got one good read. We got another good read. We're comparing them. Lands are the same. Life is grand. Okay. So now we'll go ahead. We'll go to SMC Plus. That's what we're going to use. Okay. That's Josh's baby right there. We're going to go ahead. We're going to hit Create ECC, and then what we're going to do is we're going to write the ECC. Okay. So we're writing, and now it's going to write. You'll notice that's going to write very, very quickly because it's just writing 50 blocks. That's it. First 50 blocks. That's all we need. Okay. Good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. We're going to unplug the X flasher here, all right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to boot this console. Now, with an insane amount of luck, all right, it should boot at the first time. So we'll go ahead, we'll hit that. Yep, there we are, and it booted. Whoop, forgot to plug the fan in. There we go. Like that really matters anyway. And it booted, of course. And of course, guess what we have? We have Zell. Okay? So that was quick, easy, done, down, and dirty. All right? Loving that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get the CPU key, and we're going to go ahead, we're going to get the DVD key, and I'm going to take a picture of them with this crazy thing here. Alright, and let's see here. Okay, here we go. Okay, no, I don't want to search for it. No, I don't want Amazon. Damn it, I don't want this. I want a camera. Thank you. Okay, so the panties are off. It's time to party. The thing just spit out the CPU key. Now I'm going to take a picture of this mother freaker right here and right now. There we go. Alright. Now. Okay, give me my picture, you son of a... There we go. Okay. I'm sure I got the right one anyway. Okay. Now, I'm going to power this off. Okay? And then what I'm going to do, alright, is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the key in. Okay? I'm going to put the key in, but however, though, you're not going to see me putting the key in. Alright, so I'm going to leave that right there because I don't want to give up her CPU key. I mean, even though it ain't going to make a bit of difference these days, but still, you know, it's just one of those things, okay? So we'll put the CPU key in, That way we can decrypt the NAND. So, and of course this is, you know, this is your encryption key for this, which, you know, without it you wouldn't be able to do this stuff. So what we did was we collected a thread here. You know, as it's running, we collected threads from the processor, and we got the number there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put it in there. It's 187. Yep. Okay. 0. And if it's right, it's going to go ahead, and then what it's going to do, it's going to descramble the NAND, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to build an image from it. So the F, and then two, yep, and here we are. Okay, now it's encrypted the NAND, everything is fine, as you can see. File's moving, life is good. Alright, and then what we're going to do is now we're going to create the XE build image. Great, here it goes. I don't need you seeing that key that's coming up. Alright, there we go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to write the NAND, okay? So, we'll plug this back in here. Got to give it a second to go ahead and, you know, do its thing. Alright, good. Now we'll give it a second. 1. Okay, good. And now we will write the NAND. There we go. Writing up flash to NAND. Okay, good. Now, okay, that's going to take about a minute, and then we should be good. And like I said, I've got the CPU key and all that kind of good stuff, so we're all good to go. And then what we're going to do here is just about done. It's just about halfway done. Okay, I'm sorry I can't show you the screen, but like I said, this is someone's CPU key. I really don't want to do that. Okay. So, you know, just work with me here, okay? But this is Rgh 1.2 method, okay? For the Slim, it was made by Josh Davidson, Octal 423, okay? Guy is a really cool guy, and like I said, keep him in your prayers, guys. He's a great guy. He's got some health issues that he needs to get straightened out. So, you know, and he just sent me a whole bunch of test files to test for him, too, which I'm going to do, Josh. So don't worry about that none, man. I got you, brother. All right, so anyway, okay, look. All right, they wrote the NAND. Life is good, okay? I'm not even going to, because I know it's going to work, okay? I'm just going to go ahead, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to de-sweat this off of the board right here, because I know it's going to work. I've done a lot of these so far. I haven't had any problems out of it. No adverse effects to the motherboard, no adverse effects to the processor, no nothing. Go ahead and we'll go over this and go over that. That way then for sure we know we're not touching anything. Alright, now what we're going to do, I'm going to plug this in. I'm going to get rid of the J runner here so that way then the CPU key is safe. Alright, I'm going to turn off this light for effect. And now I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to boot this thing, Rgh 1.2, thanks to Josh Davidson, Octal 423. Alright, we'll go ahead, we'll hit it. Bammo, done. That's it. There you go. Booted. Just as good as a fat. And then some. Okay, here. We'll go ahead. We'll turn it off and just to show you here. Alright. Okay, we turned it off. Good. It's off. Now we'll turn it back on. Come on, turn off. There we go. Bammo. What's that? Rgh 1.2. Can't beat it with a stick. We'll go ahead. We'll do it again. Turn it off. Turn it back on. And all of you other guys that do RGHs, you know, after the third time, you know, that's when it really does make the difference, okay? So it booted again, and we're going to do this again here. Wait a minute. Come on. There we go. We'll do it again. There you are. Booted again. No problems. That's the fourth time. We'll turn it off. We'll do it again. And for those of you who are saying, well, it's not in the chassis. Well, I've got 10 of them right there alongside of me that say, yeah, they're in the chassis and they boot this quick, okay? So, you know, I mean, like I said, there you go. And there you are. Melissa, there's your console. Okay, well, actually part of it, okay? But anyway, for little pieces of it everywhere, okay? Listen, we'll have this done in just Give me about 15 minutes, it'll be done. Alright, I already got the hard drive cooking and everything else, and as you can see, it works just fine. She's up there. So Melissa, thanks for letting me use this thing for our little display, and a little explanation of Rgh 1.2. Josh Davidson, thank you so much for this. You're awesome. Like I said, I mean, you're giving me these files, and you're like, test them, Tony, test them, test them. Okay, man, you got it. So there it is, all right? And as you can see, your handiwork is really good. Although, on that other Corona, we were calling it bullshit and freaking mother freaking Corona, and there was a lot of curse words and swearing. We're sitting back and forth cursing the damn thing left and right when it came to that 4-gigger. But anyway, we still got it, though. You still got it, so, you know. Anyway, needless to say, Josh, again, thank you so much for this. This is really awesome. Everybody, like I said, keep Josh in your prayers. Like I said, he's going through some health issues, and I want to see him come out on the good end of this, not on the bad end, you know? So keep him in your prayers. Guys, I hope that explains everything to you about Rgh 1.2 and what to look forward to when he does release the files, okay? So as you can see, a booting console that boots every freaking time consecutively, okay, within 4 seconds, 5 seconds, which is retail, okay? You can't get better than that, all right? So anyway, where were you back in 2014, Josh? Oh, I forgot. You were probably still in your diaper. Damn it! Anyway. Y'all have a good one. Alright, I hope that this explained Rgh 1.2 method to you, Slim. And enjoy, guys. Have a great day. I'm going to holler at you later. Y'all take it easy.